You ready for the next adventure, pal?
Keep on keeping on.
Who the fuck are you?
All right, so let's talk briefly about the second season of Peacemaker thus far, right? So we're talking about the first 4 episodes, the last of which aired a few days ago, the time of us recording this, right? So we will keep the spoilers at a minimum, right? And I will say that when the full season is done, then we could get full spoiler in it, right? But yeah, first season of Peacemaker, really enjoyed it. Didn't think that a show based on an anti-hero turned villain could, through, the movie The Suicide Squad from 2021, would have worked, right? Because, yeah, it, if that, that show kind of put, John Cena on the map there, right? But with him now being in his own show, I thought that was really fascinating, right? And, much props to the man himself, James Gunn, in Gunn We Trust, right? In being able to take a character that we kind of ended up despising at the end of The Suicide Squad and make him likable, make him vulnerable, right? Really humanize him, so to speak, right? By giving him a very fascinating, albeit very traumatic and dark backstory, especially with involving his flat-out racist father, played brilliantly by Robert Patrick. And just showing, for me, and this is what I said in my review of that first season, kind of exploring toxic masculinity, right? I love how it's framed within, 80s rock music. We can hear a lot of 80s, metal and glam rock and stuff like that, right? And you can tell, like, just from him, and especially with his age, right? Because, the character that he plays is in his early 40s, right? Yeah, he's like a kid of the 80s who just didn't grow up, right? He just was stuck in the ways of, fuck yeah, the America fuck yeah kind of attitude, right? And, being manly and all that kind of stuff, right? And you see throughout that season, how, everybody else kind of call him out in it, and then eventually he grows. He kind of understands that, look, times have changed. I can't be this way. And look, just being reminded of all the shit that my father put me through, especially with what happened with his older brother, who he kills at you, right? In a very shocking moment in that first season. It's like, wow, but like, I really need to, change my life, right? And it just made for like just this fascinating character study, right? But at the same time, it was a great, down-to-earth superhero story as well. And that's one thing that I love that James Gunn is able to do in the DCU. Kind of take these comic book characters, put them in the real world, and show how they could coexist amongst, us mere mortal, right? And stuff like that. And
what Gunn does, and again, as I say, I keep saying Gunn, especially with now with Superman, being the big, sticking off point for a lot of this stuff. What Gunn does well is what I don't know what to call it, but he's the Yang to Snyder's yin, right? And what he does is that he mixes the adult, he combines the adult and the childish stuff, or at least the adult and the earnest stuff, well, compared to Snyder, where Snyder mixes it badly, as in you get angsty teenager. Again, that's how I feel about Snyder stuff, compared to that. And this show really nails it, because this show have a lot of adult moments in it. It's straight up, outright, first episode gave you something wild.
Which was slightly spoiled on social media, but when I saw it for myself, I was like, wow, okay.
Right, and
that's where we going, James, okay.
I was quite surprised that even was a thing.
Yeah, if I just say one thing about that one moment, that is on The Boys. That's on the level of The Boys shit. That one moment, you know?
Yeah, it feels like something out of The Boys, and it was so surprising that even thing. It's like, this is same universe as Superman. I can imagine. I don't know if this really happened for true, but I can imagine some people complaining, thinking they're watching Peacemaker because it does continually follow from Superman, and thinking, oh, Sharon should watch this now. Like, hey, James, what are you doing here? Like, I can imagine people complaining about something like that. But, like, I was like, oh, this is where we're going with it, and he balances it. But it's, like, genuinely still strong start to the season, in my opinion. Genuinely charming and funny. And a lot of it just works. And, like, genuinely hilarious for what it is so far. At least in my opinion. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. All right. So, I'll just give a quick synopsis in terms of what's going on, right? So, time has passed since, the whole Project Butterfly event and whatnot. Pretty much, Amanda Waller was ousted by her own daughter, Leota, played by McGill, Daniel Brooks. And, because of that, the Task Force X, if you want to call them that, has been divided now, right? So, everybody more or less on their own, but they do hook up ever so often and enjoy themselves or whatnot, right? But in particular, this season really focuses focuses a lot on Christopher, as in Chris Smith, played by John Cena.
Yep.
And Emilia Harcourt, right? Played by Jennifer Holland, right? And their relationship. That's the best way I could sum it up, right? So if you remember from the first season, we saw in the very first episode, that there's this door in, his father's house that when he opens it, there's this dimension and there's all these doors and whatnot, right? So yeah, this season focuses a lot on that so far. And what happens is that he finds this particular door that looks very similar. The passcode is similar to the one that he uses in his father's house, and it leads him to a dimension where not only is his father alive, but his brother Keith is also alive as well. And then you learn that the three of them actually have this, they are heroes in this world. They call themselves the top trio, right? Also in this world, Rick Flag Jr. is still alive, right? You learn a little something about him, but you'll get to that with the full season review, right? But then also too, Emilia is, there too, and she's working at Argus, and there's this, relationship thing going on as well too. Like, she's more open to him, right? Because, they actually had a relationship before, but, sparks are still flying, right? And of course, Peacemaker just going through all the darkness of the first season, like, look, I might as well just stay in this world and done, but sorry, Argus in the real world, in his real dimension, kind of want to, have the target set on Peacemaker for reasons, and, he's kind of stuck between worlds, and I'll stop here.
Yeah. There's a setup thing. So it have a very popular fan theory going around about what this next world is, because a certain set of demographic not being seen in the background. And Jim's gonna think kind of half debunk this. I'm sure we're going on with that, but that is not the thing. Like I personally don't think it'll be that interesting of a conceit. Because we see it before, but like whatever, it'll be fine. If they do it. But I'll say again at the end of the season we'll get into that. I enjoyed it so far, kind of. It's a little slow. For the 4 episodes, but it have a lot of good stuff. Michael Rooker in this is great. Like,
boy, when he's introduced, and we're not going to say what character he is, right? Yeah. But it is one of the funniest characters I've seen in this series thus far. And I'll say the slight spoiler. Episode 4, right? There's 2 moments involving him, right? One set to like let me just say a montage, right? That my jaw hit the floor when I saw that. It was so funny. But the payoff of it was absolutely worth it, though, because let me just say, you think that he's just a joke now, given who the character is, but then you realize, the man actually is kind of serious. It's like, wow, okay, but that really caught me by surprise.
That power set is great.
Yes, it is.
That is holy shit. That is like a really great power set to have to.
Yeah, but then also there's a moment where he kind of explains what he has to do next to Economos, right? And no lie, that had me on the floor laughing. Yeah. That is like the funniest shit I heard in that season so far. Right. So, boy, James, like I know you love Michael Rooker. I mean, because you had him in the first 2 Guardians of the Galaxy movies, right? I don't know why you put him as this character, boy, but he absolutely nails it. He is legit one of the funniest characters in this season thus far, though. But
he's great. Yeah, he's great. Everything they do it about it, what they do it about it, but how what James does well is the internal meta problematic character. That is almost always, if you do it right, it's almost always well done and funny. And it's like, all right, good. This is how you have to do that. That's how you do that kind of humor. And you make it work for it is. But yeah, they set up the world well. Economos is great in this season. Like what he going through and what going on with that. Great actor. Then when we get with, I'm surprised we didn't get nothing with Waller, but they finally do the whole stuff with Hardcore. And when we find out why she can't get with Chris and why, it's like, oh, you're right, this makes perfect sense. And again, you say we'll address this later. But yeah, so far going good, right? Like I dug in it so far. It a little slow, but keeping my attention. Like that's all I'll say. It's good.
Yeah, same too. Like I'm not overly moved with it so far. Like I think it's going really good so far. I would admit the setup, which takes place over the first couple episodes, is kind of slow. But I would say it picks back up. It kind of steps up a little bit more with the 3rd and 4th episode, right? That being said, though, what I will give mad praise for is John Cena himself, though, because here James gives him the opportunity to show his dramatic range. Because in the first season, you just sort of watch him and like, oh, he's just this doofus, this man child, if you will, who's still stuck in the 80s and whatnot, very crass or whatnot. But because of all the stuff that he's been through and how he has to connect with both emotionally, I should say, connect with Leota and Emilia, and to extent Economos as well, right? And also we should mention, Vigilante, right? Another, I would say, a fan favorite in the show as well too. he's also he's more child than man though, in terms of the man child character. Yeah, 'cause, yeah, he's a guy who legit acts like a kid. You know what I mean? And it's just the naivety that he shows though is hilarious to me. But yeah, when shit goes down, man will pull out a katana and will like chop people down. Right? He's that hardcore, right? But yeah, I didn't expect to see Peacemaker this vulnerable though. You know what I mean? And it just caught me by surprise though, because at times I'm like, boy, like you always so sullen, boy, you always so sad and stuff like that. But you have to understand, why, because of what he went through in the first season, especially with his dad though, you can understand why he's moving the way he is, right? But then also too, when he gets into this world, this new dimension, and he's seeing things in a different way, it's like, oh, I get it, right? But yeah, I really have to applaud Cena for this, being given the opportunity to show his dramatic range. So who knows, he might be joining, Dwayne Johnson in a Oscar-worthy performance, because hearing that about his role in the Smashing Machine, which I hope to see theatrically. Yeah, Cena could be up there. I know about Batista, like I don't know what going on with the agent right now, given all these weird casting choices, boy. But now, boy, Batista need to get back in. He need to get into the.
But he starts strong.
Yeah, he starts strong, boy. But I don't know what he's doing with these like great kind of movies, dog. Like you need to go back to the A-grade. What's going on?
Yeah, okay, he had a cameo in well, I mean, he's still in Dune, right? Although he dead in Dune, right? I can't remember.
He dead in Dune. Josh Brolin,
right.
Sorry if we spoil that, whatever. But no, like the man was in Blade Runner 2049, like that. When I saw, I was like, all right. Because I mean, this as we wrap up here, right? I mean, yes, Guardians was cool, right? But when I saw him in Blade Runner 2049, it's like, all right, this man really stepping the game up. I don't know what's going on this year, Dread. But anyway.
He had a cameo. I think he had a cameo in Naked Gun, I think. It was moving.
Okay, well, I haven't seen that as yet, right? But yeah, point is, I'm glad that, the character of Peacemaker is growing and changing, right? And I could see that in terms of the show itself, just the way how it moves, how it flows and whatnot, right? What I will say, just to wrap things up though, the theme song is still at a grow. It's still at a grow, man.
Okay.
Like the first one, Do You Want It that's a banger. That's an instant banger, right? But this one, I like how it's more emotionally driven, that's all I'll say. And the song, it's a bop. It just had a grow, man. But I love the dance performances. So I love it. Right? Yeah. I love how very theatrical it is compared to the first one, right? So you could tell, like, James want to show these characters that he clearly loves. He want to show them grow and evolve, even right down to Chris's father, who we hated, we flat out despise, right? But yeah, when he's paired with Keith, though, there's a warmth to him and all that. So it's like, wow, like, I really should be looking at this guy differently, right? But then you have the opening sequence to episode 4. It's like, okay, well, maybe not, So, yeah. Right. But anyway, just to wrap things up, right? What I love the most about this show is that it takes the whole reset button with the superhero genre and sort of flips it on its heels now. So it kind of does something like I don't want to say Groundhog Day, but just the whole idea of, hey, if you had this opportunity to live life in this particular way, would you accept that, or do you want to go back to the shitty life that you had? And that's what the show explores, right? But it does it through the whole DCEU turn DCU kind of thing, and with the multiverse.
Yeah, because
very.
They did a rehaul. Yeah, they kind of retconned the ending of Peacemaker season 1 with flashback, which was fun.
Yes. If I just say one last slight spoiler though, I love how they rework Justice League to Justice Gang in terms of what Leo just says. I was like, I see what you did there, James. I see what you did there.
They literally did it with the flashback.
Yes.
Like when they saw them, remember they show up. Yeah.
Yeah, the Justice League, but now it changed to the Justice Gang. It's like, all right, James, I see what you did there. I see what you did there, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, still not over the moon with this first half thus far, but I am liking where the show is going, and I just hope that the other 4 episodes just, continue on with that momentum. And who knows? It could, I should say this season could be in my top 10, as far as best TV shows of the year go, right? But yeah, I am really digging where they're going so far, and I just hope that it sticks the landing. So, Ricardo, any last words on this season 2 thus far?
Yeah. Just strong enough start, I think. I enjoyed it. Again, little on the slow and here or there, but like I digging it for what you're trying to do and trying to say. And the central conceit is interesting. Again, there's a big, like, a lot of people think the shoe gonna drop, and I don't know if this is a spoiler necessarily. A lot of people think this is quote unquote Earth X, and that is a whole thing. But everybody tell me on the internet saying so, but like if it's Earth X, maybe. I mean, it looking like that, it could be, but like that's not that interesting. I mean, whatever. But we'll see, right? If you know what Earth X is, you'll see it makes sense, and it kind of makes sense given the time and the politics and blah blah blah, right? So it could be that, but I don't think so. Like we'll find out. I don't know, but I think Gunn kind of soft debunked that. I think so. So you'll see. Whatever.